sick of people at ESPN or SportsCenter who think they have their heads on their shoulders but really don't? Well, it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. We're going to give you the most urgent sports news. Now it's time for the Jimmy the K Sports Show. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready for the #1 sports show on the web. Here we go, my sports friends. How you doing? It's me, your host from each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Central Daylight Time, Jimmy the K. Hope you've had a wonderful week this week. I'm going to go ahead and get with it, but I will let you know that this show will more than likely be abbreviated with the World Series starting today. Lots of sports news going on. Not a whole lot of sports news going on. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of a dead sports week, to be quite honest with you. There's really not. But this next week's is going to start turning up a little bit, especially with the NFL trade deadline coming up within the next week or so. Things are going to start changing hands a little bit. Baseball is going to be closer to being finished, if not finished by then. Off-season plans are going to be made. Coaches and managers are going to be hired, and general managers are going to be hired in baseball like they have already been over the last couple of days. And yes, I am actually going to respond to the chat tonight. I didn't have chat up last week, so that was my fault. So yes, I will respond to chat. So keep your questions coming. But for the time being, just to let you know that the show is going to be abbreviated because of the World Series. I'm going to go ahead and start off with where do I want to go? If you've been following our website, which is simple, if you've liked the, yes, basketball does start. PVO, Pack22RJ. I have no idea what your name is. I'm just going by your username. I'll call you Bob for now, all right? Bob the Builder. That's what my kid would call you, all right? I'll call you Joe Deere. Basketball does start. As a matter of fact, I don't know. Maybe you could correct me. I think most of the NBA season starts tomorrow night, but I could be wrong. I haven't quite looked too much into it. It could very well start tonight. Whee! Yeah, it's actually the busiest time of the year in the sports world because you have baseball finishing, you've got basketball starting, you got football halfway through the season and the trade deadline coming up. You've got hockey season in full swing. This is pretty busy. You know, it's not until really about December or January when the sports world kind of goes flat for a bit. Yes, basketball does start, and I'm very grateful of that. You know, a lot of sports writers. I've read a couple of sports writers. One in particular, I believe it was the Dan Patrick show, and it wasn't Dan Patrick himself. It was one of the other hosts. Basically said it was going to be Cleveland and Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals. I don't know if I could even say that. Do I think Cleveland's going to be in the finals this year? Definitely. I think they'll be back. But, you know, just like with any other sport out there, it's all determined by health. You look at Oklahoma City last year. Oklahoma City was not that great of a team without Kevin Durant. They have not been that great of a team without Russell Westbrook. The years that both Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant have been healthy have been the years that they went to the finals, and then they went deep into the finals. So just like any sport out there, health has the true indicator as to who's going to win the finals, who's going to be in the finals, because, you know, with the blink of an eye in one game, you know, a team like Golden State, who won it last year, didn't they? Could have one of their stars break a leg in the first week of the season, and that just crushed their dreams. It happens all the time. But, you know, it's too early in the season. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to make that big of a prediction because if I did make that big of a prediction, it probably wouldn't come true. I will say my biggest prediction is that the Cavaliers are going to be in the finals. And yes, LeBron is the best. I've said this. I've said this throughout this show many times. I don't know if you followed the show in the past, viewer, or not, but even last year and years past, I've always said that LeBron is the best player in the NBA since Michael Jordan. I will never, ever, ever say anybody was better than Michael Jordan because, to be honest with you, there will never be another Michael Jordan. I don't think Kobe Bryant is Michael Jordan. I don't think LeBron James is Michael Jordan. Do I think LeBron James and Kobe Bryant in a one-on-one match, LeBron James would crush the heck out of Kobe Bryant? Yes, because Kobe Bryant and the Lakers are arrogant, okay? I've said that through many, many years, and that's the difference between LeBron James and Kobe Bryant is the arrogance amongst themselves. I see a difference in being arrogant and a difference in being competitive. A lot of people in the sports world are going to say, they're the same thing. How can you not have an arrogant player but have a passionate player? You can. You can very well not have an arrogant player and still have that same passion and drive. And I look at players like Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and those are the spitting image of players that have a passion and drive without the arrogance to go with it. So, yes, I will agree. LeBron is the best. I do feel 99.5% chance that the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be in the finals. Who they're going to be accompanied by, I'm not going to say yet because, even right now, saying that the Cavaliers are in is a shot in the dark because I'm basically saying that LeBron James is going to be healthy the whole season. And if LeBron James isn't healthy, that kind of throws the meter off, so to speak. It kind of throws the Cavaliers out of the chances as many people have. Don't hate on the Black Mamba, okay? If you're referring to Kobe Bryant, I'm sorry, but yeah, I will hate on Kobe Bryant because I hate Kobe Bryant. Okay, hate's a strong word. I'm not going to say hate because hate's a strong word. I will dislike Kobe Bryant. I've said it many, many times. I see a difference between LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. They're two different players. But I would take LeBron James over Kobe Bryant any day. Because honestly, LeBron James or Kobe Bryant seasons have been done. He's been done for the last 3 or 4 years, and why they haven't just gotten rid of him and threw him off to the curb, I don't know why. He's spent more time on the bench than the worst teams NBA players have sat on the bench. All right. So, well, it was going to be an abbreviated show, but I have somebody who's constantly chatting with us, and I appreciate this. I enjoy this. So keep the questions coming. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the sports news. I don't know, viewer, if you follow our website or not. If you've liked our page, our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/AllAboutSportsZone, or you can go online and just go facebook.com and search for All About Sports Zone, and then like us. I post, I think right now with the website, what we're going to do is we're going to do one show a week, and then I'm going to try doing one blog a week. Then it'll increase with the blogging as time goes on. But for the time being, it'll be one show Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and then one blog, whenever I choose to write it during the week. The last couple weeks it's been a Saturday, so wake up Saturday morning, there's a new one on the website. But if you've liked our page, facebook.com/AllAboutSportsZone, you can find the website there, or I can link it here. It's www. It's the radio. Double your W's. screamerproduction.com, or no, hold on. See, I'm already getting ahead of myself. www.screamerproduction.wix.com/AllAboutSportsZone. And we've had a couple blog posts up there. One titled "To Flip or Not to Flip," discussing the bat flips in Major League Baseball during the postseason. And then this last one being a World Series preview. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read that, viewer, or not. If not, I'm going to go ahead and read that for some of the viewers that have not had the opportunity to read that. And I'm just going to give you my World Series preview. As it starts tonight, I'm going to look at both the teams, look at the ALCS MVP, look at the NLCS MVP, and give it to you from there. So what was going to be an abbreviated show may not be an abbreviated show. And again, I appreciate your questions and comments. Viewer, if you have any more, even while I'm going through this right now, send your questions. Even if I don't get to them this show, I'll see them for next show. I won't delete them for next show because I'm not that type of a person. I will definitely keep them up and definitely keep them coming. I appreciate you viewing, and let your friends know about us. So, this is my World Series preview. Okay. The World Series preview, as we know it, starting today. That's a weird website name. I appreciate it. It's because it's going through Wix, which is a free, somewhat of a free site to help you create your website. So, my wife basically created that, who's a computer programmer. So if you're going to knock her, then you're knocking my wife. So please don't knock my wife. But basically it's created through Wix. You can go through many templates, create your own stuff like that, or you can spend a buku amount of money and just start from scratch. Right now I'm doing it this way. As more viewers come along, as more sponsorships come along, then we'll look into possibly pay for websites. But yes, that is a weird website name, but it's because it's through Wix and not through me. And Screamer Production is the name of my production company, so that's why Screamer Production. Okay, now back to Go Royals. Yes, my World Series preview. Okay. Through my World Series preview, okay, basically going back through the season, the Kansas City Royals, which won the ALCS, were 95-67. For the second year in a row, the Royals are aiming for the World Series crown. Last year, they fell to the San Francisco Giants, and they know the feeling of losing the crown. Overall, their numbers look like this. $95 wins and 67 losses, a .373 ERA. They took a risk by trading for Johnny Cueto, knowing that he could be a rental-type player, but with the taste of postseason in his mouth, and particularly the World Series, the odds of him resigning have increased favorably for the Royals. Even without resigning Johnny Cueto, this team has a formidable top five to return to the postseason for years to come. Their batting average was .269 overall. The Royals don't have stellar home run numbers, but where they get you as a team is by getting on base and then moving runners over. The highest home run total on the team is a tie between Mike Moustakas and Kendrys Morales at 22 home runs. But the team lead in RBIs goes to Morales, who had 106 on the season. Alcides Escobar was the ALCS MVP. He had 6 runs scored, 5 RBIs. He's the 4th Royal to win the ALCS MVP crown. The other 3 were Lorenzo Cain, who actually won it last year, Frank Wright, and George Brett, the great George Brett. I remember George Brett, and that's sad because that just proves how old I am. All right, the New York Mets, the National League Division winners, or National League champions, 90 wins, 72 losses. This is the Mets' first appearance to the show since the year 2000, and the taste of victory is in their mouth as they swept the Chicago Cubs. Mind you, on Back to the Future Day, how dare them, in the NLCS. Overall, their numbers look like this. Pitching 90 wins, 72 losses, a 3.43 ERA. The Mets this season took a risk at the trade deadline by not trading really any of their big names that had been whispered leading up to the trade deadline, and boy, did it pay off. Many around the league felt like the person to go would have been a toss-up between Dylan G or Bartolo Colon. Where are both those players right now? Still with the New York Mets and thriving in their respective roles. Try saying that fast 5 times. The front office of the Mets made a decision and stuck with it and ultimately paid off. To put this into perspective, Bartolo Colon was tied for the team lead in wins with 14, and who said an old man cannot pitch? Hitting 244 batting average on the year. Just like the Royals, the Mets too do not have a stellar home run numbers, but ultimately on paper, the Mets win in this category. The home run leader for the Mets this season was Lucas Duda with 22. The biggest fuel to the offseason was the addition, or to the offense, was the addition of outfielder Yoenis Cespedes. Not only did Cespedes add fuel to the Mets' fire, but he gave them some leadership and home run power they did not have before the trade deadline. Much like the Royals, the Mets won't hit the long ball all of the time and are more of a team that mirrors the Royals, getting on base and moving runners over. The NLCS MVP went to Daniel Murphy, and everyone knows his numbers because he had like 7 home runs in 7 straight games. A .529 batting average, 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 6 runs scored. Those are Babe Ruth type numbers. This is my thoughts on the 2015 World Series and the offseason. The World Series is going to 7 games with pitching being the big key. Pitching and defense wins championships. I've said that all along through many years of being a host on shows and doing shows. I have always said that and will stick to my guns. Offense alone will not win you championships. Pitching and defense alone can win you championships. This has been the case for many years. You can club the ball all you want, but if you commit errors and don't pitch well, you're going to lose. If you look at the regular season numbers, you might just be deceived and think that the Royals have already won the World Series. But guess what? Don't be deceived, because the odds are, like I said, this game is going to 7, and I'll give you my pick for winning the World Series coming up at the end. This World Series will be Daniel Murphy's more than likely last with the Mets. The Mets organization has already stated that they are going to extend a qualifying offer to him, but many amongst the organization have said that he will turn the qualifying offer down. So, with that being said, he's already said that he's going to turn it down, though discounts will be given, and ultimately, in my opinion, he's going to land a deal with a competitor somewhere in the 5 to 6 year $100 to $110 million range, and ultimately make the Mets pay. The Mets will have to make decisions after this World Series. Those decisions will be the pitching and second base. My thoughts is the Royals will ultimately land a deal with Johnny Cueto in the ballpark of somewhere in the range of 6 to 7 years, from 180 to 210. My thinking right now is that he'll land a 7-year, $210 million deal. give or take a few $1 million on that deal. Okay, who will win the World Series? That's what everyone wants to know. My thoughts on who's going to win the World Series. And this is where people are probably going to throw me under the bus because, like I've told many of my viewers and fans of the show and followers of the Facebook page and followers on Twitter, that, honestly, I want the Royals to win this World Series. But if you look at the overall numbers, the New York Mets win this World Series. Too many things are against the Mets not winning this World Series, and one of those is simply the fact of being able to hold on to some of their coveted pitching. If the Mets win or lose the World Series, I would expect them to explore some of the trades they had in the works during the trade deadline. Two things are for sure. I honestly do not see Bartolo Colon coming back next year, nor do I see Daniel Murphy resigning with the Mets. The odds of Colon not coming back go extremely way up if they win the World Series, because who doesn't want to go out on top? My pick for winning the World Series, and I've already stated the World Series is going to go to 7 games. My pick is the New York Mets. Believe it or not, there's too many factors against the New York Mets not winning this World Series. And again, like I said, while I want the Royals to win, there's too many factors going against them. So that's my thoughts on who's on the World Series preview and my thoughts on who's going to win the World Series. And to answer your question, is the website professionally done? Yes, it's done by my wife. My wife is a computer programmer. She's not some 19-year-old kid, not 20-year-old kid from some university or school who's usurping his authority or inserting himself into a church atmosphere or a school atmosphere or a work atmosphere as claiming that he is a website aficionado. She's a professional. She's a professional programmer. So yes, my website is professionally done. What else do I produce? I produced for 15 years in radio. I've produced many shows. I've produced my own show. I've produced the Brent Clanton show several times. I've produced the Vince Rowe radio show at Biz Radio Network for several years. I had extensive career in the radio business, and something that, even while this site's not completely perfect and I'm still working to get it there, we're always working to make it better, to get it better, to strive to be better. So while this may not be the greatest in the world, I'm going to do everything in my right mind to make it the best in the world. All right, so that's what else I've produced. I've spent extensive career in radio. Yes, the website's professionally done. So, any more questions? PVO PACTU2RJ. Wow, try saying that fast 5 times. La, la, la. A couple more stories, and then we're going to cut the show short since the viewers have simply disappeared. Of course, everyone saw this coming. Prince Fielder wins the Comeback Player of the Year award in the American League. Everyone saw that coming. They saw that coming, during the All-Star break. They saw Prince Fielder producing the way that he used to produce in Detroit. Now, if we could just get him to produce that way in the postseason, the Texas Ranger team would be formidable for years to come. So, yes. I love you. Don't you want to hear the Barney song, people? Alrighty. The AP Top 25, which is actually now the composite Top 25, which means that the voters, the 12 voters or whatever have had the opportunity to go in there and calculate them, have officially come out. We'll go through that, and I'll give you my versions of those top 25 picks, and go from there. Greg Hardy. I'm not going to lie. If you watched the Cowboys game the other day, you saw Greg Hardy come off the field, push Des Bryant, and then slammed one of the coach's clipboard down. Is that respectful? No. And, I'm sick of people sugarcoating it and saying, well, if he performs on the field, I could care less. Well, the truth of the matter is the Cowboys have had to cover his butt all week long in practice because he's been late several times. That's disrespectful to the team. Not only that, but you're being disrespectful to a player not only who's earned that star on his helmet, Des Bryant, but who has performed on the field as well. So, say it's emotion all you want, but the truth of the matter is it's all about disrespect with Greg Hardy. And, through 2 games that you played, you've had 3 or 4 sacks, and you're going to sit here and say, you have the right because you perform on the field. Well, 2 to 3 sacks in 2 games is nothing to be happy about. So, with that being said, this is the composite top 25. Then I'll go through and give you my top 25 pick as well. And you will get the opportunity to email or call or chat or, I wish I had a call-in show, don't we all? This is the composite rankings for week 8. And again, just like every week, I'll go through and rank them myself once I'm through. The composite list them like this: Ohio State, Clemson, Baylor, LSU, Alabama, TCU, Notre Dame, Stanford, Oklahoma, Iowa, and Michigan State, Michigan, Florida, Utah, Florida State, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Memphis, Duke, Toledo, UCLA, Houston, Temple, USC, Mississippi State. My top 25 is a little bit different. I think Ohio State stays 1, Clemson stays 2. I think Baylor stays 3. I think TCU's 4, LSU 5, Alabama 6, Notre Dame 7, Stanford 8, Oklahoma remains 9, Iowa 10, Michigan State, then Michigan, Florida, Utah, Florida State, Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Memphis, Duke, Toledo, Houston, UCLA, Mississippi State, Temple, and USC. That rounds out my top 25 for college football. With all this being said, again, I thank you for stopping by each and every week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I am your host, Jimmy the K. You can find me here again, or you can simply like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AllAboutSportsZone. You can follow us on Twitter at JimmyKersey1. You can email any of your questions to us at AllAboutSportsZone@gmail.com. That's one word, AllAboutSportsZone@gmail.com. Or you can find us on our website now, www.screamerproduction.wix.com/AllAboutSportsZone. Yes, it is professionally done. It is professionally done by my wife. And until next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, I am your host, Jimmy the K. Until next week, peace out.